Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, your libertarian car guy, and obviously I'm facing off here against the just updated for the first time in a decade Mazda Miata, significantly updated. They tweaked it here and there since 2006, but this is the first major update. And as you can see, it's a more aggressive looking car. They have done some, in my opinion, fairly controversial Z4-ish butching up of the car's lines. This camera's not particularly good, so it might be hard to see the detail, but the sculpting on it, you know, these bulging and bone lines here, and from the side, you can probably see some of the arching on it. I personally like it, but some Mazda people may not like it. It's kind of analogous to what Volkswagen did with the Beetle. They took it from being a kind of friendly, happy car to making it more of a macho dude's car. So I don't know whether the styling job will serve Mazda's interests on that. That's debatable. What's not debatable, what's really good about the new car is that it's about 200 pounds lighter than previously, which is pretty amazing. Most new cars tend to get heavier. This one's lighter. So even though the power is down a little bit versus last year, the car is significantly quicker and it gets better gas mileage. So that's a twofer. And it's still really affordable. There really isn't another car like it that's a rear-wheel drive convertible sports car that you can get for about 24,000 bucks brand new. Now let me show you some of the controversial things, or at least to me controversial things about the car, because you know how much I love to kvetch and complain. Alright, so when they dropped the car off yesterday, the very first thing that I wanted to do was plug in my radar detector, because after all, it's a Miata, it's a sports car, I'm going to drive it appropriately. Well, I started to look around to try to find the PowerPoint. There is no PowerPoint. I literally looked all over the place, and then I got the owner's manual out, there it is, and I found out where the PowerPoint is. Let's see if you can see. It is I'm literally, it's back here. Where my finger's pointing, way the heck back up there in the footwell. That is where the 12-volt PowerPoint is. It's literally impossible to reach it from the driver's position, and the only way to reach it from the passenger position is to get out of the car and squat down and plug in whatever you need to plug in, which is a hassle, and it's kind of ridiculous. They've got two USB points right here. There's plenty of room. I don't know what this little hole is. There's just a hole here. It's nice to have the hole. They could have put the PowerPoint there. There's no reason it couldn't have been put there, or why not just put it in the dash somewhere? So that's annoying. It's a small thing, but it's definitely annoying. Something else I'd like to call your attention to, if you look at the gauge cluster here, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it with my crappy camera here, but the red line on the tach is now at about 6,300 RPM. Previously, last year, the red line was around 7,200 RPM. So what Mazda has done is to retune the engine to make it milder. It now produces its peak power significantly lower in the RPM band, and the red line is lower. So it's less revvy than it used to be, which, you know, the average person who drives a Camry would probably like. But one of the things that really endeared the Mazda to people who like to drive, like me, is that the engine just loved to sing and loved to rev. It still does, just not as much as it used to be. The torque is up a little bit, and the torque peak is lower. So it's more drivable than it used to be, but it's not like the old car wasn't drivable. I think what they probably did was retune the engine to make it a little bit more agreeable with the optional automatic transmission, though why anybody would want a car like this with an automatic is something I'll never understand. Speaking of transmissions, you'll see that this is a 6-speed manual transmission. And while the old car was available with a 6-speed, the 6-speed was only available in the higher trims, and the lower trims had a 5-speed. So here's an upgrade. You got a manual transmission that's now a 6-speed transmission. And the other thing is, you can see that we've got an LCD touchscreen now in the car that didn't used to be available in the Miata. Now you can get one. And the really happy news is you don't have to have it. You can keep the car simple if you want to, but if you want the electronics, there it is. Anyway, let me climb out. That's the initial video for the day. The full review should be up at EP Auto shortly, and thanks for viewing, and we will catch up with you next.